We read at the beginning of Parshas Kedoshim, Daber el kol adas bnei Yisrael. You should speak to the entire congregation of bnei Yisrael. V'marta leim kedoshim tiyu, and you should say to them, kedoshim tiyu. They should be holy. So Rashi over here cites Chazal, Teres Kohanim. Now, why is it kol adas Yisrael? Say Daber el adas Yisrael. Every Jew had to be there. Melamed shenemar parshas u'bahakel. That this parsha was said with all the Jews gathered. Why? Why is it so important? They sharov gufi Torah tuluyim bo. Of course, the vast majority of the fundamentalist Torah are based upon this mitzvah of kedoshim tiyu. Now the question is, what does kedoshim mean? So Rashi cites again Chazal. Kedoshim tiyu havi prushim in aroyus. You should separate yourself from forbidden sexual relations. Umin aveiro. Shkol mokum shtamotze goder erva. Wherever you find a godir, a fence, to distance one from forbidden sexual relations, atomotzi kedusha, you find that's where Hashem is associated with that person. Isha zonu chalolo, ani Hashem mikadishchem, loichal zaro, you should not desecrate your seed, ani Hashem kacho, kedoshim tiyu, isha zonu chalolo. So we see that whenever we separate from forbidden sexual relations, that engenders kedusha, Hashem's association with us. The Gemara tells us in Shabbos that when Hashem offered the Torah to us, He had first gone to all the nations of the world and offered the Torah. Each one of them rejected it. Klaus says Nasa v'nishma. However, the Yalkut says it differently. That Hashem, after He gave the Torah to us, the nations of the world came to Hashem and said, "Why do you favor the Jews? Why don't you offer us the Torah?" So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to them, "Are you able to prove your pedigree as my children proved their pedigree?" As it says, "Vayisiyaldu mishpachoseim," that they brought Sefer Yechuseim Shalem, they brought the documents of pedigree to prove that they're pure. They're all purebreds. There's no incest. There's no adultery. The Jews are a pure people. Among you, you're all illegitimate. And when they heard this, they were like astounded, astonished. Komu v'nei v'yashrua. They immediately rose and they began extolling the Jews, how special they are. So we see that a prerequisite. Now, what is the basis for Torah? It's only that we should have a relationship. Hashem only took us to be the Mamlechus Kohen v'Goy Kodosh. That means He could only have a relation with us. It's through the Torah. But what qualified us? That we were pure. There was no illegitimacy. We did not violate arayos. But the nations of the world who violated this area, they desecrated it. There was no basis even to offer them Torah because Hashem cannot be associated, doesn't want to be associated with this type of quality person, spiritually speaking. So therefore, why a Rov Gufi Torah Tluyim Bo? Why the vast majority of the Torah, why is it based upon Kedoshim Tiyu, which is Arayos? Because this is the fundamental. We have no relevance in terms of the profile of who we are to have a relation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu unless this area is pure. Find the Ramban writes that we know Nisim Gluyim, revealed miracles, were not in Bayesheni, but there was one Nes Gola, which was, if it ever happened, the law of Hashkos Sota. If a woman was forewarned by a husband not to seclude herself with another man, and she goes, and there's a question whether she committed adultery, so we have the process of the Sota. And what happens if factually, if she did commit adultery, Chas v'Shalom, she bloats, she swells, and not only she dies in this miraculous way, even the adulterer dies identically the same way. It's a nes. But if by Sheni there are no Nisim Gluim, why does Hashem leave this miracle in place? Because since this has to do with the purity of Klal Yisrael, to establish us as a pure people, Hashem is weeding out all this impurity. He will not tolerate it. He has no relevance to it. He doesn't want to be associated to it. And since we are the Goy Kodesh, therefore that's the way it has to be. We find that Bilam, after he attempted to curse the Jews to destroy us, he wasn't able to succeed. So he says to Balak, Elokem Shalelu Sonim Zima, Soni Zima, the God of the Jews, He cannot tolerate sexual impropriety. He cannot tolerate it, and He will not. And this is when they enticed the Jews with the Benos Midyon, and as a result of that, there was a plague together with the Balpor. But again, his main point was Hashem does not tolerate Zima. This is this impropriety. Kedusha and that, they're not on the same plane. They're contradictory to one another. So again, that since our relationship and our status and all our Torah only has value if we maintain this level of purity, therefore this mitzvah had to be said in the public setting of Hakel.